It's officially February, officially time for another Real Report. I'm Graham Allen, Senior Real Estate Broker with App Properties and a top 1% realtor here in Chicago Association of Realtors. And this over there is Amy Rankis, Senior VP of Mortgage Lending with Proper Rate. We're going to give you a quick rundown of what real estate market is looking like for home buyers and sellers out here in the western suburbs, as well as an idea of where interest rates have been, where they're at now, and where they're headed.
Yeah.
Get ready for that one. All right, so last month I repeated my prediction for the first quarter of 2022 based on the end of year numbers, and guess what? I'm not budging based upon January stats. It's kind of shocking, right? I'm sticking with marginal price increases and a steady stream of additional inventory. So, however, if we check on homes for sale, and Amy and I were talking about this just a minute ago, it may be hard to see where my confidence comes from. We're down almost 45% from last year, and if we look over a 10-year span, we can see that we're halfway of our previous all-time low. It's bleak. Sellers are paying attention to this too, right? So look, here's the deal. Sellers have to have a place to go if they're going to sell, right? So they're freaking out too.
Freaking out.
But I'll tell you this, sellers, don't jump the gun just yet, okay? So good old Billy Prescott said actually at the battle, if I ever get it right, the Battle of Bunker Hill, don't fire until you see the whites of their eyes. Everybody, primarily sellers, if you can hold steady, you'll see it, albeit incremental, a little bonus for your patience. The reason why I say this is when we go down and we take a look here later on in the average sales price currently, okay? So just stay with me for a second, right? Now, although lower than last year by nearly 35%, market time is in fact increasing. You can see right here. Just as predicted. Man, I'm good. This is another sign of buyers' reluctancy to jump at a limited inventory and hold out for kind of options. Everybody seems to be kind of wanting options. They ain't there. All right, but I will say that we may not see our normal surge, kind of as you see right there, in the time on market all the way up until April. We're likely going to actually continue upwards through February, but we're going to stall out, I kind of believe, in March. So as buyers begin to jump out of fear that nothing's going to be coming on. Buyers, we will see inventory, okay? Just breathe. You'll have options in 2022. All right. At least a little more options in 2021. So, and finally, let's go to what you're all actually going to listen to me for. Sales price. And what do you know? Roughly 5% lower than we were in January 2021. That's actually kind of surprising for most of you, but dang, I'm good. I told you we're going to drop in price, but we're going to come back up. So don't expect that percentage to be kind of in the red for too much longer. Buyers are still willing to fight it out with that cash monies, even as appraisals start to come in a bit under where they were last year. I still expect a positive 2 to 3% top dollar over 2021 when we hit our peak in, say it with me, June. All right.
June.
So what does it all mean?
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, you see, you knew it. Everybody should know it by now. I keep preaching this. Nobody believes me. All right. Nothing has changed since my initial predictions in December. Buyers, keep your eyes peeled as we kind of begin to see inventory creep over the next 45 days. Sellers, we're going to look at about a 15-day head start to our sales cycle. So start interviewing agents and cleaning out those basements. Amy, tell me, I'm ready to get beat up. What's the deal with rates?
Oh man. Oh, Graham, it has been undeniably a very rough past 4 to 6 weeks for mortgage rates. Yeah. There's just no other way. Look, I love, this is called the Real Report. So I'm going to be real with you.
Get real. Tell me how you feel.
It has not been pretty. It ain't pretty. We've seen essentially a 1% increase in interest rates over the past 6 weeks. So that's pretty jaw-dropping, even for a 17-year veteran. I've never seen an acceleration that quickly with rates. So I'm slightly speechless and tongue-tied about it myself, but the number one driver of why this is happening are the inflation headlines, right? So we are at 40-year highs for inflation, people. You're probably feeling it when you go to the grocery store, when you're going out. We're seeing gas. Everything is going up. So guess what? Mortgage rates have to go up too. I'm not going to get into a big Econ 101 type lecture to any of you, but when inflation is as hot as it is right now, mortgage rates cannot stay at the historic lows we had been at. I mean, look, it was a fantastic ride for a couple of years. I hope everyone that wanted or needed to got the refi in, but I know that's not true because I know there were people that kept, I'm just going to wait. It's a pain in the butt, whatever. Like, I'm sorry to say that ship has sailed. If you are looking to reduce your rate, unless you are above 4% on your interest rate, don't even bother. If you want to take cash out, because equity is fantastic right now for homeowners. If you want to do a cash out, then we can talk. But if you're trying to reduce your interest rate and you're anywhere south of 4%, just know that you're in a really good spot right now compared to where we're at. So if you check out this chart over the past year, you can see how low we were in March of 2021. We were right around 2.7, 2.8 for a 30-year fixed rate. This chart now is showing us at 3.7. And let me tell you, actually, this is lagging data because yesterday was another bad day in the market, and rates, I fully expect to be seeing 4%. Yes, people, 4%. We went from seeing 2% to 4%. Okay. So I got to shoot straight. You just need to be prepared for that. If you are a buyer and you've been desperately looking for a place and it just hasn't been there for you, I am so sorry. It has been a lot of tough conversations that mortgage lenders have had to have recently with buyers who, hate to say it, your affordability has definitely been crunched because rates have gone up significantly. So if you had been pre-approved before or even in talks with anyone, you got to circle back and get a sense of where are interest rates now for you? What does that mean to your bottom line for monthly payment? And is that going to change the budget for what price you're looking at for a home? So Graham, I mean, that's something I think we can dig into even more next month.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
How is this going to impact sales prices that sellers are putting out there? There's definitely some mixed reviews on and projections of where that's going to go. But I think we should definitely touch on that more next month. But for now, I mean, and that's it. You know, I would like to point out in this chart here, over the past 10 years, we're still right around like the average over the past 10 years with these rates. But I'll tell you what, you can look at those recent years, we're definitely at the highest that we've seen in several years. So, you know, it's a grin and bear it. It is what it is. You can talk to anyone who's older than you and they'll say they had an interest rate higher than where these rates are now. So when you look at it from that perspective, it's good. But the days of locking in a rate in the low threes, like that's over.
Two questions. Any relief in sight to where we kind of stop just? Yeah. I mean, that's a great question. And I would love to say yes, but I think, I really think, look, I'm an optimist by nature, but at this point, every client, I'm like, let's lock you now. Yeah. We luckily at Proper Rate have a fantastic option where that
you
was
can
my
lock
second
an
question.
Interest rate. Correct.
Yeah.
We can lock an interest rate for you now, 120 days, 150 days if you want to, and lock that in if you don't even have a property. So if your goal is to buy this spring, give me a call because I can absolutely help you lock in what's here now. And look, if 60, 90 days down the road, rates have come back down a little bit, we're also really cool people and we'll let you go to that lower rate. But if rates are at 4.5%, we're not going to make you take that higher rate. So please, I mean this in all sincerity, like most lenders aren't offering something like that. Yeah. So I really would encourage, it's something to look at with how dramatically things have changed. Now, what is there an end in sight? I mean, the challenge is inflation at 4-year highs. Okay. And the Federal Reserve, they set policy, right? And they are very committed to supporting the economy. And they had been supporting the mortgage and real estate industry for years, especially through the pandemic. They were doing things called buying mortgage bonds. Okay. I'm not going to get into a ton of details about that, but they have decided that they need to pull back from that and actually stop buying our bonds eventually. So inflation is the number one issue, but that underlying Federal Reserve announcement a couple weeks ago is what has also really sent rates sailing higher, because when the largest purchaser of our mortgage bonds says they're going to pull out, now we need private investors to come in. And there just hasn't been the appetite for that. And so guess what? People have to make more money to make that investment. And so they don't want to buy it at 2.5%, 3%. They want 4% or more. So there we are. I don't think there's necessarily an end in sight. I'll certainly get back to you when maybe we see some more stabilization. But right now that hasn't really been That hasn't been the word. Volatility.
Yeah, you and I are on the same page again, and I was saying 2 to 3% increase, which is minimal compared to what we've seen the past 2 years, right? But I still expect it. Therefore, we're not going to jump. But if that stays lower, it's still, even if it's even with last year, what people are offering for, it's still going to make it tough. So that's why keep your eyes peeled. Talk to Amy. The rate lock thing, that's awesome. That's why I was curious. I didn't know that was a thing, and I think that is a huge benefit to people now, because so many people are still looking and haven't been able to find something.
That's right.
But if I'm talking about inventory rolling on, then giving that 120 or getting that 120 days or so, it's a brilliant idea. Hey,
right. I mean, that's 4 months from now that you could have a rate lock for. So
yeah.
So, and the detail is, lenders, we lock an interest rate when you have a property and we know what your close date is. So that's why this is such a novel concept. It's because typically you have to have a contract to know when you're going to close, then you lock. So we're saying you don't even have to have a property. So lock it and let it roll, see what comes out. And hopefully it all works out.
Guys, check with Amy Rankus, Senior VP Mortgage Lending over at Proper Rate. She can give you kind of the details on that kind of stuff. But kind of a sad way of saying that's a wrap.
Hey, I love you guys. Happy Valentine's Day.
Keep good. But we're gonna see you in March. Let's keep those positive vibes going. Let's try to be optimistic with Amy over here on everything. And until then,
maybe
everybody
check on your mortgage person if you haven't lately. See if they're still breathing.
Yes.
Right?
They may need some cookies or something. So, all right. Until March, you guys be good to each other.